Welcome back to the final episode of the back.
Wait, I gotta check my audio too. Okay, we're good.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the. Hey, we're just. I'm not editing this out. Welcome back. Welcome back to the final episode of the Back Questions Worth Answers podcast. Each week, I, Connor, along with my friend Charlie, and today, now that Brett's gone, he's out of here. We now have a new diversity hire, Lydia, Charlie's girlfriend.
What?
Should I? Okay, I'm gonna finish the script. Present a bad question to the others. Then, as a group, we attempt to explore these bad questions with the worst answers. All right, now that we have that out of the way, Lydia, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah, Connor's gonna eat a fry, so you have a good few seconds to work your way through your history.
Yeah,
I'd like to say hello to the 40 viewers.
No.
20 some viewers.
Look, you don't have to disdain it.
I respect what you two and previously Brett have done to create this empire, and I'm happy to be a guest today and cannot wait for the future hour to commence.
You know, can we talk about the fact that this whole thing started as a way for the three of us to get together and hang out, and now Colby, or the four of us, and now Colby's gone and Brett's gone, so it's literally just you and me talking to each other once a week.
You guys wouldn't know that Colby's gone, you know, because you never talked. But he's gone too.
Oh yeah, he's out this week, and I mean, you really won't notice the lack of Brett, frankly, either. You know, I saw in the comments some people calling him the brick wall of the pod, and I think that's pretty much right on base. You just get nothing back from him.
Just a flat character.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, we have a new bit now that Brett's gone. We're gonna just kind of talk about what's new with Brett. And so,
well, and I mean, as we said, in keeping with the whole history of the pod, as a way to keep up with the four of us, we're just gonna try and keep you guys up to date with Brett. Obviously, we're really broken up that he's gone, and we just want to keep everybody up to date on what's going on with Brett. So you can take it away there, Connor.
So this week, Brett has been berating us with favors and errands to run for him. Today, actually, we're recording this on Friday. He is a part of a PowerPoint presentation party. Is that right?
That's my understanding, and I'm also of the understanding that is normie bullshit to participate.
Yeah. Something that him and his fraternity, apparently this fraternity has men and women in it. I don't know how that happened. I guess it's a normal thing. Brett is doing this, and he has been hitting us up asking for us to send in videos of us stating facts about his presentation. I did it anyway because I'm the bigger person. I just decided to, do it, get out of the way.
But request after request. I mean, it was just text after text, and I was like, bro, I'm in class. Can I have 20 minutes? And he was like, no, I need it now. I need it now.
Yeah. He was like, hey, can you do this for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, dude. I'm on my lunch break. I'll bang this out and, whatever. But, I'm not going to do any more for you. Yeah,
it's just a real disrespect for our time and the things that we need to be doing.
Waste.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when your friends are coming to you and needing this level of support and engagement. Have some independence, Brett. Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to live our own lives and get along here.
And the thing is, it's like
get together for a night.
Yeah, the thing is like, oh, you could have asked for this favor while we're on the Discord getting the pod, because this is kind of our scheduled time when we.
Yeah, here we are. We're doing it.
Kind of just talk and hang out. Well, no, he decided to go fuck us with that. He obviously doesn't care, so it's fuck him. We don't care about him anymore. So why is he asking for these favors, these needs, when he's the one that didn't want anything to do with us?
Totally. I actually was on the phone with Brett for an hour or so earlier this week, and I mean, again, the hardest hour of conversation. Yeah, the hardest hour of conversation I'll have all week.
Sorry.
I mean, it's just like I'm making a voice memo on my phone for an hour or something like that. It is some of the least satisfying conversation you could come by. And God, the problems. It's just problem after problem with Brett. I mean, he's like really struggling, and it's just, leave me alone, you know?
I've got my own problems.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad you have problems, Brett. That's cool, whatever. Yeah. But, like, let's, if we're going to do this hour,
you're dealing with them. But, yeah, if we're going to talk on the phone, let's make it somewhat productive.
Yeah, find somebody else for that shit, you know? Yeah. Like, what am I? That's not my role.
Yeah. Call your mom or something. Like, I'm not your mom or your dad.
Yeah. I mean, either. Both are fine. I want to make that clear. The pod is fine with either, being attached to your maternal or paternal influence. Which one do you go for, Connor?
Do you trend one way or the other? Mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Mom.
So does that make you a fucking pussy or?
That's what I was say.
Not particularly. We should have Colby on because, he's a bit of a mama's boy himself. But, he's not here to defend himself, so I'm not going to bash him. But
yeah, they say, close the yearbook, but this guy's, trying to close the scrapbook still. It's crazy. He can't get out of that home to see. Yeah. Okay, well, that was stupid.
I thought that was clever.
I was pretty pleased with it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I did too.
Time to get out.
You think we did enough from the Connor or the Brett bit? Think we got enough out of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people understand what's happening with him.
Okay, we just wanted to give people an update on how Brett's doing.
Yeah.
Really struggling, I think is the main takeaway. Really struggling.
Reach out to him.
Yeah, send your condolences.
Yeah. Type in the comments what.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel about Brett.
Take off of us would be great because we are dealing with too much right now from that kid.
Here, I'll call him for an hour just so you don't have to call him next week.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably set it down and then go get food somewhere or whatever and head back. I mean, it's yeah. It's tough. That sort of connects with my question for this week, Connor. If we're good to jump right in.
Oh, are we announcing? Oh wait, guys, listen. Wait till the end of the podcast where we are going to announce our presidential. Are we doing that?
Sure.
I can't keep a straight face through this.
We really got to plan some more of this shit in advance.
Hey, it's all good.
Okay. No, you're right. You're right. Now that you say that, I remembered. It's fine. It's really all good the way we're doing it.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Okay, I'll fill in for Connor here. He's gonna do that and then eat a fry. We've got some exciting news related to the American 2020 presidential race at the end of the pod, so stick around. I know it's going to be a real endurance race for the 2 questions. I know that's tough for you guys to get through. The viewer ratings really seem to drop off after the first 5 minutes or so. So
hey, but we're going to try to subscribe.
Yeah. And throw us a like. Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell as well. Anyway, Charlie, your question.
Okay, yeah, my question. So that was a good segue. My question, and I think this does connect back to the Brett thing. What are the greatest conversational cardinal sins? It'd be great to have Brett on here because we could just sort of talk to him for a while, and it'd be more of a visual demonstration for the viewer. But
yeah,
we're gonna have to talk our way through it instead. So that's fine. I'm just trying to get at the things that are immediately obnoxious. This could be like over text or anything like that. I just, often hate people the way they talk and communicate, and so I wanted to just sort of have an opportunity to vent about that, honestly.
Yeah. I think.
Good.
Oh no! Okay. For fuck's sake. Okay, so I work at Walmart. I'm just gonna. I have a lot of shit going on with that.
Let's get into it.
So people, I don't know if this is like, this like dips into like both like conversational and like just like situational as well. People will ask me, if we don't have something on the shelf, they'll ask me, can you check in the back if you have any more? There's nothing in the back. There's.
I like to do this, Connor, for things that are already stocked. So I just to get the freshest thing possible. So I'll be looking at a nicely fresh stocked bacon aisle, and I'll be like, do you have any more in the back that's a little bit newer? I just don't want this to go bad. I live alone, so I don't go through food very quick. Generally, that's not received very well. Is that something that you'd relate to at all? You can understand?
Literally any time when someone asks if something, can you check in the back to see if this is there? It sets the whole tone of like an awkward conversation, and it's like they don't even like lead with anything. They're like, hey, there was this seeded. Guys don't have any seeded rye bread on the shelf. Can you guys check in the back to see if you have some? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like if it's not on, like in my head, I'm like, I'm sorry if it's not on the shelf. Then it's probably not there. But I'm like, okay, I'll go check in the back. So I walk in the back room, and then I'm probably compromising myself, but no one's gonna see this. I'll walk in. You walk
right back out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I do. I walk to the back room and walk right back out. I'm like, I'm sorry, I got nothing for you, and because there's literally nothing in the back, and then they'll like come up with some lame excuse where they're like, my wife has really been wanting this, and it's like 60-calorie almond milk. Like they're like, oh, my wife really wants this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't do anything for you.
So I should stop asking things like that. Is that the takeaway for me there?
You're probably not gonna get anywhere.
Jeez.
You literally won't talk to anybody in any store if you can help it.
Okay, well that felt targeted.
Well,
I think that's a good starting point. Just like the guy that's asking for something that like they clearly won't receive at all. Like just totally.
And they're so persistent on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even go for like
back around. Like you've already done a fake walk to the back. Like what more does he want from you? Does he want you to like go to the factory? Yeah. Like call up the delivery van and see when the next seeded rye bread is going to show up.
Exactly. It's like people that it's like they don't even like start the conversation. Like this dude was like, he called me from like 50 feet away and was like, "Hey, man!" And I was like, and I was like looking around, like checking who was calling for me, and I was like, okay, well, like I'm gonna help this person. And then he was like, can you check in the back if you have any 60-calorie almond milk? Like I see some like milk in the freezer, but like I don't. Is it there? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll check. And then so I checked, and then I came back, and he was like, okay, yeah, but I still see some milk in the back there. And I'm like. And then thankfully I saw some dude that actually worked in the milk department. I was like, hey, can you help me? And this dude gave him the same answer. He was like, sorry, dude. I don't know what to tell you. And like, he didn't even like start off the conversation with like, hey, like I'm trying to look for this thing. Like, is there any way you can like look in the back? And it was no, he just cut straight to the chase.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not. Yeah, I don't mind cutting straight to the chase when it comes to conversation. As we have talked about in previous podcasts, I'm not the biggest proponent of small talk. I think
I do recall a small discussion surrounding small talk and your distaste for it.
A very not heated debate that didn't spark any, conversations like that. But yeah, just like if you have like a question that's just like. Like you're starting your conversation off with the question that you're just getting nowhere with. So like I just end up saying like
I can see it. I don't know. I think that I just love the image of the guy that really needs you to check in the back because he needs his 60-calorie almond milk that bad.
Yeah.
Like, is that where we're at as a culture now? That like that is this guy's primary need and a major motive for him, and that there are people that would probably get like angry, if you weren't able to find any back there.
Yeah.
I feel like your stories are on the fairly positive side of it, honestly.
Yeah.
You could get seriously Karen'd, I'm sure, and have some real trouble with it.
People like go crazy if they're like, I haven't found the Lysol wipes, and I'm like, I'm sorry, they're probably sold out. And they're like, can you check in the back? And I'm like, no, they're not. It's out. And they're like, okay, well, do you know any other place that sells it? And I'm like, sorry, I have no idea.
I'm not really a big Lysol wipe guy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Anyway.
Well, that's good, Connor. Do you feel better after that? You feel like you got something out there?
I did want to rant about that.
Okay, good. One of the things that's really the impetus of this for me is a lot of it is over text-based communication. The kind of person that throws a lol or a ha-ha or a smiley face after. See, I knew I had a friendly audience here. We were in a group chat with a gal who throws in like exclamation points and ha-has and smiley faces with a nose, which is a whole. I think that is an entirely new spectrum of smiley face.
It's like fuck off. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, Lydia, it seems like you're
I don't
about
know. I just feel like it's she's a super, super, super nice person. Charlie kind of hates her for her texting.
We're talking generally here. We're not talking about this specific individual.
Hey, I'm sure she's
We're just
nice.
talking about this kind of behavior.
Okay, but in general, like, niceness can only be so much of your personality. Like, for it to, like excrete out of your text messages is a whole new level of sort of nausea, I feel like. I feel like that's the way she kind of comes off.
I get, like, a really big, like, passive aggressiveness when that happens.
Yeah, it's just for me, and like, yeah, what's most annoying is the people that aren't doing it passive aggressively, which sounds really poor. That quote, I understand, does not read well, but it just pisses me off. Like, no one is that happy. Like, your life is not that good.
Yeah.
Like, let's just have some levity about the fact that life is a little bad every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not everything is ha-ha and exclamation and fucking nose on your smiley face. That one gets me. That one really puts me
way. Colby actually...
You had to swallow that fry? Is that what had to happen there? With that pause? Because you had to swallow
I had to swallow my fry. Colby texted me, or producer Colby, because we're roommates, and he was like, hey man, like, because like when I shower I use like wash rags, and like, there's generally like a railing to set them on, and apparently I put too many on there and like it'll fall over. So he texted me about it. It was like, hey man, like, can you not do this? Like, and then he suggested like another way to like combat this issue. And I'm sure, and knowing Colby, I'm sure it was the most well-intentioned text in the world. But when I saw that, I immediately got pissed off. I was in immediate defense mode. And then I was like, and I just replied with, I was like, okay, I didn't know that. Sorry. and then he was like, hey man, no need to apologize. It's all good. Smiley face.
Oh.
And now that's where I got pissed.
Jeez.
I think
think of anything more insensitive than "Hey man, no need to apologize" and a smiley face? That stuff is horrific.
Well, the thing is, oh, go ahead, Lydia.
This is kind of I don't know if it's unrelated, but it always. Geez. Can you not? Can you be supportive?
Just move. Just go. Run with it.
Okay, I think one of the worst things too is when you apologizing knowing that you didn't really mean it, and like, but you just felt like it was a formality, sort of like, kind of what you did, and then they're like, "Oh, no need, like it's totally fine."
Yeah.
Like just makes you want. Yeah, that feels like so much worse for some reason.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've got time. No, let's wait.
Fuck you. Yeah, just like with I'm like a person where it's like if I'm not like catching up with someone over text, like I'm pretty like cut and dry with my text now where I'm like okay, sounds good, like blah blah blah. I don't need any fluff. I don't need like emojis to convey what I'm doing. Like you can talk to me like in person if we want like smiles and like whatever. Like it's like I think texting should be purely like information based, and I think Charlie, like you've expressed this, maybe just in like personal conversation or like on a podcast episode where it's just like it should be like pretty cut and dry, like where it's like we're just like conveying information so we can get to talking on like face to face.
Yeah. I think texting conversation is best when it's very transactional, like just as a middleman to get you to the real thing.
I don't need fluff.
Yeah, keep that fluff out of there. No small talk.
Because you know how I feel about
no
that.
Empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one that applies to me is just the kind of person that never is going to ask a follow-up question. Or even worse, the person that starts a conversation and then doesn't propel it. We're both familiar with an individual that is very guilty of this.
After you said that first thing, I immediately knew who you were talking about.
Yeah. We are both well aware of this individual and their proclivity to begin a conversation and then just one-word response you the rest of the way.
No, yeah. I know who you're talking about, and there's so many people like that where like they'll come into a conversation and really like genuinely interested to like talk to you, and then like you'll answer them and then they'll be like, and then they don't do anything.
Yep.
It's one of the most irritating things because then I feel like I feel obligated to like follow up with like their head nod or their lack of response. So I feel like I have to overcompensate in the conversation because it's already begun and you can tell that they want to talk to you more. But they just aren't doing any of the legwork.
It's really a brilliant maneuver in many ways because they just like they've made the effort, and so you then feel that they want to talk to you, but you have to do all the work. I mean, you're having both sides of the conversation. You're setting them up to talk, and they're saying nothing.
Yeah.
And then they're barely asking you anything, so you have to ask yourself a question and then propel it. It's just a real marathon. Really, really a miserable experience.
Yeah.
I think in general. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, okay, I'll go. I think in general, any of that fake shit is just the worst thing. The fake happy, the fake question, all that is miserable. The fake wanting to hang out. Let's hang out later.
Yeah.
Let's put that shit out forever.
Well, yeah, it doesn't mean anything either when someone's like, "Oh, hey, we should like go hang out. Like you can come over. Like whatever. Blah blah blah." It's not gonna happen. We all know. There's nothing gonna come out of that. But it's just like purely like. It's I feel like it's just like an endorphin boost, like when people like say those things where like, okay, I'm gonna make you feel good, but I'm not really gonna like follow up on like that, even though like I don't know, even if like the person like genuinely like likes you and wants to hang out, I feel like it's just like something that they say, and that's it. I think that's like one of the biggest like things in like a conversation, like especially when it comes to like trying to like come to an end goal out of the conversation, and like you can tell that person is just like faking and making it through their way through the conversation, but that just might be their personality. But like who would know, like because like they're not gonna like I don't know like open up about it. I don't know.
Yeah, and That's a good one. And that hits home in a lot of ways for me out here in California, where I find people are not like fake, but they're definitely not as like honest as the kind of things we're used to, or like open about themselves. You look at the people we know from back home, and someone like Brett especially, that's just like vulnerable to the extreme. And there's a genuine comment on Brett. You know, there's so much of that where we're from, and I feel like here everybody's just trying to push an angle too much. Maybe you could comment on that and anything you see of it, but it's so hard to get anything real. And so like I'm, you know, putting myself out, not in a way that's uncomfortable, but just in a way that feels like honest and normal to me.
Yeah.
And all you get back is this like very platitudinal, you know, like just generic BS. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I think a lot of that too, though. I mean, I'm sure a good chunk of it, like I could see why Californians would be, I don't know, much more susceptible to that kind of behavior. But also, I think part of it's just like a small town, big city, or like, I don't know, whatever like culture you kind of grow up in and what you sort of care about. I do think people obviously here are like much more concerned with their like appearance and their like status and like popularity, and I think that carries over in that way. And so they're going to be much more likely to do those like shallow, I guess is just a good word for it. Not that people are like that like universally, but to your average person, there's a lot of people that will eventually come off like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like agenda pushing. I feel like
that's a good way to push it. It's a lot of people that like have a motive, and I think so much of what you see out here is where in a small town like where I guess all of us are from, it's you can like very, very quickly and easily stand out as an individual. Like it's pretty easy to define yourself.
Yeah.
But I can imagine if you're from a place like San Francisco or LA, you can't even begin to imagine like standing on your own as an individual. And so I think people work so hard to like find that individuality and find that confidence in who am I and what am I and what am I doing, that they end up just sort of sinking into these very generic, who am I? Well, I'm this, you know, like this is what I am. Look over here.
I think it's very much like chasing the dragon when it comes to like they're like overcompensating for themselves.
That's a nice term for it.
Yeah. Kind of like I'm victim of this, like probably on purpose, but kind of like along with who we're like, where someone will start off a conversation really strong and like they'll reply, and like the person who like started the conversation and replies back, but like says something like will give like a really like generic like answer, or like just something to like make it really awkward. Like I'm definitely guilty of this, just because I think it's fun to like make conversations really awkward, but especially when it's like a well-intentioned conversation. Like I can't imagine like how many times where I've had like talked to people and I'll be like, oh, like I don't know, like someone will ask me like how I'm doing or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, that's good, and then like they'll like come up with like just like a really like not a question but not really like an answer, or like like a follow-up where they'll just be like, oh yeah, haha, like, and then they'll like share something about themselves. Oh, I just thought of another like thing that really annoyed me, but just stuff like
the right
that.
Podcast with this question. You got a couple of curmudgeonly guys that genuinely don't like talking to people, talking about what things they really don't like talking about.
I also hate like people who can't end a phone conversation. We have a friend like that. And when they start a phone conversation, there was no confidence in like the reason they ended up dialing your phone number and calling you. It's like they've lost themselves. It's like this whole awkward introduction, like we're friends for the first time. Like, oh hey, oh you busy?
She's referring very directly, and they're just did a pretty solid interpretation of a dear friend of both of ours, who is impossible to start a phone call with and also to end a phone call with. I know people that go one way or the other, but I've never met someone where you have to, hello? Hey, this is Charlie. Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, okay. Like it's a good 15 seconds of preamble at the beginning of the call. Then they come around to their motive, and you have the phone call.
And that part is literally the shortest part of the phone call every damn time.
Yeah, the shortest part of the phone call is what they actually called for, and then it's this whole circus parade of trying to get off the phone with the person.
Yeah, it's just there'll be times it just drags and drags, and listening to it, it's also super entertaining to like listen to Charlie on the phone with this person and just be like, God, on speaker, it's so much more painful not even being the person a part of it. Yeah. And then you end up being like, I'll see you tomorrow. It's like, okay, like, oh.
Yeah, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, yeah, tomorrow. Okay, so I'll see you then. And it just like keep going and going. Yeah,
they're like they keep reaffirming like the plan set. Yeah, but like they're just like never sure.
He's also like, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
I've got another one. It reminded me of another one with this person. Again, this is a dear friend.
Such a sweet.
We adore this human. This one though is another great one. The burying the lead, where you introduce a topic with something super vague. Like, did you guys hear what happened? And so everybody's like ready and like, you know, like ready for the big news, and it's like, oh yeah, our professor sent something in the Microsoft Teams. What?
Yeah. The time to expect some brilliance out of this person is, we start to get used to it. But he's also like, half the time he mishears you, or like we all mishear him. Like he's partial. It seems like he's deaf. So there'll be times where it's like a person in our group's like, oh yeah, like he brought up news, like I think he's gonna tell us in the car because he wouldn't tell me over the phone.
This was a couple days ago. He wouldn't say it over the phone.
And so we asked him. Turns out he didn't have anything to say. It was completely bullshit. Like there was just a miscommunication. But we were all like anticipating and doing all this guesswork to think of what it was. And he just like, our other friend misheard him because he said something.
Well, no, the deal was we were all in the car to go pick him up to go do something as a group. And the thing that was brought up was, he I guess has some big news. Like he wouldn't tell me over the phone. He was like, did you hear the news? And so we get to his place. He comes out, we pick him up, and we're like, what's the news? And he's like, what? And it takes this whole thing, and we finally get there, and he's
That's
like,
awful.
oh, I just wanted to know when you guys were going to come pick me up. That was the news? Like, that was this vague, like, sketchy, you know, like, off the beaten path thing that you wanted to get to?
That's awful.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. It's interesting, too, because it's initially the type of behavior that, like, when I met this person, I would have been like, God, it's just, like, a lot to handle. Like, not an overwhelming person, but I'm like, oh, that would get annoying as fuck. Like, you know, put that into, like, a person and kind of detracts you from wanting to, like, invest in that person as a friend. Now, love him to death, but it's interesting because it's something I remember seeing, like, forever ago when I first met him, and it's still a constant. And now it's, like, entertaining, but it's taken a while to get used to.
That's pretty bad.
I think the thing that makes it okay is they come by it so innocently. You know, like he is truly completely unaware of what he's doing every single time, and every time he gets shit for it, and there's not a lot of growth. But...
Sorry, did I like cough right into the mic?
It wasn't that
bad. Sorry.
It's fine. We'll excuse it.
You got any others, Connor? I feel like we all got a lot out here. I could go to bed
now. I think this is similar, to an extent, but like bringing up like trying to like connect like your personal ailments or your personal like troubles into a conversation where it's like, I was like overhearing this conversation where it was like, they were talking about some like problem at like their work or whatever, and then this dude just like connects it somehow. He's like, nothing like my foot, like my big toe's got like this like like big like blister on it, like it's like hurting bad, like I need to like get it figured out. And then like the other person has no idea how to navigate this. They're like, oh, you should just cut off your big toe, like they're like it's just like this really. I think like the biggest like sin of that is like they'll bring up like their relative's death. They'll be like, oh, my grandma died. And then it's like, what the fuck? Like, how are like, what are you like? Am I supposed to like feel bad for you now? Like, here
we go. This is one of my favorite and hottest takes on the Conversational Cardinal Sin train. When I make a joke about someone's grandma dying in a fiery car crash, and then someone says, my grandma died in a fiery car crash, that's a Conversational Cardinal Sin. I was innocently making a very ill-timed and unacceptable joke, and you're going to come in and try and ruin that for me? I think it's indefensible. I really do. To bring me down for something, I'm just trying to have fun, bring some levity to a horrifying situation.
Yeah.
And they're going to come in and like just make it real all of a sudden? I think I'm not okay with it.
I don't know, though. I feel like if your grandmother died in a fiery car crash, like, that is a card that is going to have very few uses in life. And I feel like that's one point you can get, like, the most mild amount of satisfaction from that.
Well, the thing is like, no one brings that up in a genuine way. They're just going for the attention. Like, they just want, like, some condolences.
Oh, boy, that is totally the take you and I would have.
I think,
completely
I don't know.
cynical. No chance of empathy at all.
But that's like the thing. Like, I don't want to talk about my grandma dying. Like, I just like, I don't know. I just go about it. Like, I'll tell my friends. Like, if it really bothers me. But I'm not gonna tell like my friend's mom or like some like teammate that I'm like, hey, like, I know that we're just talking about how we just won this big game, but my aunt died. And then they're like, oh, I'm really sorry. And it's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I don't really want to talk about it. And then like they just keep going, and it's like
that's bad. I feel like it's different though than just being like, if you did have something horrible happen to you, I feel like you do get to like cash in on, like, if my grandma had died in a fiery car crash and you said that, like, I would have satisfaction about like putting you in your place for saying that.
Okay, but doesn't that make you a bad person?
Probably, but
yeah, I think
it
still falls along the same lines of just like getting some sort of satisfaction out of it. Like, you like, does
I don't
your
want to, though. I just want to be like, fuck you for saying that because it's actually true. Like, I want you to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the place it's coming from, and I understand also that like the joke in the first place is unacceptable. And to be clear, this exact situation hasn't happened, although I've certainly had a lot of things come close. But like, I get maybe that the joke in itself is unacceptable, but I don't know. I also feel like it's not my fault. Thoughts?
It's not your fault.
No, it's not your. No, I've had the exact situation where I've made a joke about like, I've made like some like off-color joke about like someone dying, and then like someone in the car, like nobody will say anything. They'll just like look around and be like, this person's like blah 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 died.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I didn't know that. It's not like if I'd known, I wouldn't have done it. You know, you can't. You did that. You killed that one, by the way. You killed that one.
I know.
You can't like retroactively make me feel bad about it. I feel like that's against the rules. If I knew it and said something bad, like that's
bad. Yeah, that's on
me. But if I don't know it, like, I don't know, it just seems like a dick move to put it on me after the fact.
Yeah, because like it's no one's fault.
I don't think though it's like putting your grandmother's death on you. I just think it's like, I literally think
you killed my grandma.
No, and I don't think they don't want like remorse or pity from it really, but I think it's just like a fun fact, or I guess not a fun fact, but like a fun fact.
Yeah,
a terrible fun fact you can just like throw
You know
out.
what else is funny? My grandma died exactly that way.
Yeah, I just think it's like
My aunt killed herself.
the terror like start to come up in your face. I think it's really like satisfying. Just be like, oh fuck, that happened at that. I mean, not this exact thing. Do you remember when that happened though at the little portfolio party?
No, what happened?
With
we're exposing
Ben.
ourselves of having something very similar to a PowerPoint party.
Yeah, we're treading the line here.
It's different. It's academic and no.
Oh.
Is this going to be a good pod story?
Probably not.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah.
Jeez, just tell it now. We're in. We're in.
Yeah.
The audience deserves it. They sat around for those 4 seconds.
So we were at this, like, well, I just called it portfolio party. But
yeah.
We were going through our work and, like...
But it was cool. It was cool.
We'll call it this for now. We'll come up with a different name.
There was alcohol. I wasn't drinking, but there was a lot of alcohol.
Some Bud Heavies. It was getting lit.
I had to drive.
Yeah, we didn't even let Charlie have
Otherwise, brother.
Yeah.
I'm right here with you, man.
Totally. We put it down like people drinking.
Okay, anyways, you're done. Essentially... Oh, I don't even remember how it came about, but anyhow.
This is horrible.
I know, but now you've made me do it.
This is great.
2 classmates of ours, one of ours, her, like, sister had passed away, like, the last summer or something, and she was, like, pretty young. But anyways, this other kid in our class, like, somehow it comes up, I don't know if we're looking at her work, but he says something like, oh, but your family member hasn't died, like, something... direct, like, and it was true. Do you remember this?
No, not at all. I don't remember the person who had a dead sibling. I don't remember someone saying anything about
Emma in bed.
Okay, now you're making it.
Whoa, docs!
Now Connor's got to censor this shit. You see what you've done?
Connor's a qualified podcast.
That's true.
Producer. Anyways, my bad for the shitty story.
Also, now I do remember it, so appreciate that.
All right, we've had plenty of this
yeah, we've done a lot.
Some quality discussion though. But my question is, how long could you live a posh life? The reason why the reason behind this question is I watched, so the new, like, Borat movie is, like, coming out, and, like, I've never seen, like, a Sacha Baron Cohen movie before. So I watched the original Borat. Have you guys seen that? Okay. Anyway, he, like, plays, like, this, like, reporter from Kazakhstan, and it's supposed to be, like, a very, like, he plays this very, like, ignorant character, like, he uses, like, the R word, the N word, it very, like,
those are 2 of the big ones.
Very flagrant and, like, offensive, like, humor, and he like, goes to America to learn, like, the lifestyle and, like, reporting on, like, what it's like to his home country. And there's like a dinner scene where they're with this, like, very, like, southern dignified, like, people, like, he's having dinner with, like, a minister or whatever, and, like, his wife, and, like, two other couples that are very well off, very, like, prim proper. And so he goes to an etiquette coach, and they kind of intercut between, like, what the etiquette coach says and, like, how he, like, interprets that. And it was just funny to see how like, easily that lifestyle could be, like, broken down, because, like, something like that lifestyle is just, like, very, like, I don't know, at least to me it's, like, very, like, pretend. I don't, like, do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Yeah, like, just, like, the fake, it's like this sort of, like, fake, like, built-up culture. It's like, and it's in movies, it's always depicted as, and I think very, like, accurately, as with, like, pointless rules and things that don't actually do anything, but just make it feel more complicated, so that the people that know it, it's like having a bunch of dessert forks or something like that in no order. It's fucking stupid. Like, they should just be served in a can next to the table, and you take what you need. Yeah. But instead, it's this whole thing just so you can show if you know the right fork or that. Yeah. And
the way they end the scene is, like, the etiquette coach or, like, Borat is like, am I allowed to, like, bring guests over? And the etiquette coach is like, yes, like, but only if you confirm it with the host before. And he, like, he obviously doesn't do this, and he brings, like, a prostitute to the dinner party, and, like, they call the cops on Borat, like, and this is supposed to be, like, it isn't, like, really scripted except for, like, Borat's character. Like, all this is, like, very, like, in real time what's going on. And I thought it was hilarious, like, how, like, people, like it's almost like how like politicians act in a way where it's like it's like they're very much this facade, but there's like you get very easily offended by like these like really just kind of like just like normal like things that go around. You would only be offended by them if like you didn't have this kind of like outlook. I don't know, and it just like made me think like how long I could like keep up that sort of like facade or kind of like lifestyle before I've just had enough.
I think one show that comes to mind is Succession. When you talk about this, have you ever seen Succession?
I've heard a lot about it. I need to watch it.
It's fantastic. I love it. And there are so many little moments in it. I think largely the show, well, there are so many really like beautiful little moments in it where it's just like a quarter of a line that's getting added, or just like the intonation and the way an actor delivers something that shows passive aggression or like concern about the kind of things you're talking about, where like you'd never actually think about it or it would never actually be a big deal. And I think they get at those little nuances so effectively. That's a great reference for this. But I don't know. I'm the thing that's coming to mind for me is how long I'd last being sort of like vaguely entertained by it. Like how long would the politics of it be sort of funny, and then after that I feel like it would just get old for me.
My thing is like I would probably do it for like I'm cutting myself off at like a year, because I think it'd be like funny at first. Like the idea of it is like very funny. Like I'm like infiltrating like this sort of like culture, and one of the funniest things about like that Borat scene is like something that like I like something that like I feel like my humor plays to like a bit is Borat like comments on like the figure and like the beauty of like one of the couple's wives, and like the minister is like, "You've got that right," ha ha ha. But like, and like he's also like sitting with his wife, and like the wife is just kind of sitting there like very awkwardly while like this pastor's like kind of like co-hitting on like this like like wife, and Borat is like, you two wives are all beautiful except for this one, and it's the pastor's wife, and the pastor is just like really like disgruntled by it, but like it's kind of like undeserved by like the way he was acting before. So I think like the politics of that and like kind of like playing with that would be really fun. But I feel like there would be a certain point to where I would actually care about the politics of it all, which is like, because it's kind of like irony, where it's like there's a point to where you can be like too ironic to where you actually are what you're like playing irony on. So I think I think it'd be like a tough struggle to like, I don't know, because I feel like living that kind of life is very like established and in place to where it's like it's kind of hard to break the mold. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just went on a really long rant.
It was a bit. It feels very much like a dance or something, where like you have to just know the moves of it. And I think you touched with like the pastor bit on like the hierarchical element of it, where like you're allowed to do certain things if you're of a certain level, and if you're not there, you don't quite have it yet. And I think that's like very foreign in normal conversation and normal discussion, where like everybody's kind of on the same plane and can go anywhere they want. I think you really see that hierarchy show up there. The more I'm thinking about it, I don't think I could go very long with it. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think I could either. I think I'm too like lazy and stubborn to have to like, I don't know, subscribe to such like a weird set of rules. It's also one of those things though, it's like as a human now, like being put into it, or like if you were raised in it, like I feel like there's a bunch of different scenarios in how you get into it. I do agree that, like, at a certain point, like, if you were kind of at the top of the food chain of it, it would almost be, like, not better, but, like, I think that where the payoff happens is, like, so far in the future. I don't think I would make it to the point where it could actually be kind of enjoyable. But I do agree, if you had, like, people, like, for lack of a better word, like, comrades with you or something, like, I don't know, friends, I feel like you could fuck off and it could be, like, a good-ass time for a while. But I think that would start to get tiring eventually. And at some point, I feel like you just want out. But I don't know. I feel like at some point, like, the benefit is so far in the future by the time you're, like, the highest on the totem pole, or I guess just, like, know it well enough. I don't think I would make it to that, but I think it could potentially be worth it if you could. I don't know.
Okay, this is reminding me of our shared experience of private primary school, right? Did you see any of this kind of thing there? Because I remember back in mine, you've got really kids from really, really rich families going around, and they know the game. Like, they know the dance, they know the moves, they get it. And then there were, like, my friends and I who just watched this shit and laughed. I mean, it was the compatriots thing that Lydia mentioned. And it makes it's very, very fun as a spectator sport when you can sort of see the give and take that's happening and the guy that's getting rejected without anything happening. Like when you sort of can just watch it, it's a wonderful, wonderful game.
It plays, like, super heavily into, like, religious, like banter and, like, I don't know, because, like, because we both went to private Catholic school, and it's weird, like, how much, like, respect holds.
Thoughts on that?
That was pretty slick.
Just a couple of guys taking a water break.
You two just pulled off there. Anyway, it's weird, like, especially in those settings, like, how much, like, respect can hold, like, how, like, high it, like, everything is, like, built on respect, and, like, if you don't follow this respect, like, you might as well not even be talking to us. Like, there's so little respect going on, and part of me, like, really hates it because I think respect is this, like, although I do think that, like, there's, like, a baseline to where, like, everyone should, like, follow. You're just being, like, a nice person, but, like, I think if you hold it to, like, such high regard, I just think it's fucking, like, stupid. Like, why are we playing this, like, game that doesn't matter? Like, I don't know. I think there's a point where and, like, the thing is like, it connects to, like, so many other things, and, like, I feel like that's, like, where, like, a lot of problems can, like, arise, where you can just, like, hold, like, a shit ton of power over someone just because, like, you're all, like, about the respect. You're respected up. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's not respect, it's just that person's opinion of you that's like, giving this name respect. It's the people, especially in those, like, private school situations where the hierarchy of teachers and that kind of a thing is so much more exaggerated than in public school. It's not respect, it's just, here's how I think of you, framed as how respectful you are of others. Yeah. It's all fake. Like, oh, you forgot your spiral notebook? Here's a demerit because you didn't respect the class enough to get it ahead of time. That's something that happened to me. I didn't bring in my spiral notebook in 6th grade, and I got a demerit for it. My only demerit in my Catholic school career. Jeez, you only got one? Yeah. I was a good boy. Things up. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I didn't rack them up, but I definitely had more than one. I remember my first one, though. It hit hard. Like, because it probably came a couple years into the demerit system, so I'd been good for so long, and when I got that first one, I might have cried. Like, it might have been a big... No way. Big thing. Anyway, that has nothing to do with your question. Remember when I got a yellow card? And that's soccer? No, that's, like, elementary school. Did you not have... Oh. Yeah, we had, like, yellow cards and red cards and green cards. Foreign. I think I remember that, like, in, like, 1st grade, maybe. Yeah, it's just all throughout, well, probably till, like, I think till, like, 6th grade. Maybe in junior high, I hope not.
I don't know. It's just like a yellow and red card system. And I remember...
Was it like currency? Could you like buy shit from a little fake store?
No, that was Cougar coupons.
Oh.
Yep. But no, that was like a warning would be a yellow. Like you start at green, a warning would be a yellow, and then your second warning of the day would be a red. And I think at that point you would have like a serious...
Oh, you got 3 a day?
Yeah, I'd like restart every day.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That doesn't even feel like a
yeah.
big of a deal.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, I think maybe you could get a black card too. Maybe that's just like suspension. I don't know.
Like, oh, I told my teacher to fuck off. Here's a red card. We'll start new at the end at the next day.
I mean, you get in trouble for the red card.
It's like a playoff hockey game. Like at the tail end, like everybody just starts beating each other up because the penalties don't carry over.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? I'm getting 4 strikes at the very end of the day. Clock strikes 3 and everybody just goes nuts. 50 yellow cards in the last class. That wasn't funny.
Hockey talk.
Hockey talk. That should be a new segment. Hockey talk with Charlie.
Oh no.
I could do it.
Please
Man,
don't.
I've been going back.
Don't.
Here we go.
You could do a whole podcast about hockey talk.
I've been
Oh.
a second episode. I've been going back and re-listening to my favorite hockey podcast from 5 years ago. So I'm listening, and it's like almost a daily podcast. Like it was every day or two. So I'm listening to like December 1st through December 8th of 2015. So like none of this matters anymore. None of it is interesting or relevant. It's bad. Like that's what the off season has done to me right now.
Would you have been listening 5 years ago? Were you into it?
Yeah, I remember
guess
the
you would have
episodes. I remember the episodes.
Jeez, that's the only thing you fucking remember.
It's like rewatching Friends
Ugh.
for the 50th time or something
Yeah,
like.
that's true.
That's referencing someone else we've discussed.
Yeah, to
this.
someone with no name.
Yeah.
All right.
Friends.
We've hit about an hour. We've had some good discussion. Lydia, thank you for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure.
How would you rate your guest experience?
Yeah.
What can we do better as hosts?
I think it's just hard. I mean, like, it's been good, but I think what's always going to be hard is that you've grown up together, like, in some capacity.
Well, we touched on the beginning just how deep our bond goes, our friendship and the depth of our connection. It's just 2 guys. Just a couple of dudes.
Everything's a bit.
We don't. It really is, but we do have serious sentimental conversations.
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
I just think that makes it
nothing that
like,
too much breaches on the guys just being guys relationship that we have.
We don't like to get too personal in public. We like to kind of keep that for closed door. When it's bro talk time, it's bro talk time. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Lydias, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so your guest experience?
I guess like out of 10, an 8. I don't know. I think that it's gonna. I don't think. Oh, Charlie said
Jeez.
God, can you not be so critical consistently?
I do the same to Connor. I got to keep
That's
it even.
true.
If you as a guest aren't keeping it up to snuff, it's my job to just be disdainful.
I think it's hard being in the same room as you because you are good at this and talk a lot. And I don't have the sentimental bro connection with Connor that you two clearly have. It's disgustingly apparent in the most beautiful way. But, I mean, I think I don't think that there's anything that can really be done about that. Besides Charlie changing personality.
Is it good if we prompt you more often to answer things?
Yeah,
God, we can't get through a fucking episode of this without talking about, like, the sausage making process of the podcast again.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't mind it. It's whatever.
Okay.
I think that
I think this is a good wind down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. He does it all the time.
Do you think that's a problem that we interrupt you too much as a guest?
Was that another interruption? Is that why it was funny? I mean, I think you interrupt Connor a lot too, so I think it's fine.
Bro talk.
I think that being prompted is nice because I'm never going to feel like what I have to contribute is better than you or probably Connor, so.
Honestly, you've been better than most. Well, I guess like the only guest we have on is my brother Colin, and like he's pretty interruptive. But like Colby, you're like a good middle ground between like someone like Colby and someone like us two, where it's like you feel very comfortable coming into the conversation, and you're not like.
I'd say you contributed well. I feel like we needed to bring you in more, but I was never embarrassed by what you said.
Aw, so sweet.
I'm getting laid tonight, brother.
We'll see about that.
Let's clap this shit out.